is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you with a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirts, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. Today we're going to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. They have went up 2-1 against the Toronto Raptors. A lot of people picked Toronto to win the series, but Philly has been able to take a commanding 2-1 lead, and they still got another home game in Philly before they go back to Toronto. And a lot of people overlooked a lot of things about Philly. One, when Joel Embiid is on the court, he can make a major impact, especially defensively protecting the rim and grabbing rebounds. But also offensively, the guy can get to the free throw line at will because he is big. He's hard to cover because he is physical. He goes in you. He plays very rough and physical. And you can say the same thing about Jimmy Butler. But the thing that I said about this series, going into this series, is that Jimmy Butler's going to have to play a lot better. We're going to have to see the Chicago in the second half of almost the middle of the season. Jimmy Butler, a guy that can play, make, keep everybody involved while still being able to create his own shot from the three-point line to mid-range to get into the paint, into the free throw line. He was able to get a 9-9 game, get 9 rebounds, 9 assists, but he was also able to score 20 points. In the game before that, he was able to get you 30 and 10 rebounds and a couple assists. We need Jimmy Butler to be, well, they need Jimmy Butler to be more aggressive, especially when he's creating havoc. He's a tough guy to guard, especially in pick and roll. He's a tough guy to guard, especially when he's getting screens and dribble handoffs, because once he gets that first step, he puts you at such a disadvantage because of his ability to get to the free throw line and his ability to pass. But not only that, he's a 6'7" shooting guard, and sometimes he plays small forward, and he can be able to rise up over smaller defenders in a switch. He can post up a little bit also, but he also can shoot the three at the same time, especially off the ball. So Jimmy Butler, his dynamic of being able to play make, but also cut to the basket off the ball, shoot threes off the ball, and knock down mid-range off the ball, but also be a playmaker. And he's good at hockey assists. He's a guy that continues to move the ball. He's a winner. He plays team basketball. He's always putting his teammates first, even if he has to take less shots. But I thought to be the better team in Toronto, they was going to need a lot more out of Jimmy Butler. That's why I target him and said him and Tobias is going to be important. We know what Joel Embiid can do. He's their best player. He's the franchise. He's the process. We know that he can dominate a game. We know that nobody can stop him at this point in his career, especially when he's healthy. But at the same time, they're going to need somebody to help him out. Obviously, the Raptors, Kyle Lowry hasn't showed up enough for them to win these games, even though they had chances to win them. It got away from them, and they ended up losing. They just haven't been able to score as much as we thought they would with Kawhi Leonard, Danny Green, and obviously Kyle Lowry, Pascal, and Marc Gasol put out a formidable lineup that can have a lot of shooting on the court, but also Kawhi Leonard is virtually unstoppable. But he gets canceled out because you can say the same thing about Embiid. And Embiid didn't even have really a good series. He's just now having a great game of this series, and it still was enough to get them up 2-1, even though he didn't play that well last game. He made the layup that sealed the game, but he didn't play that well offensively other than that. But one thing I will say is they haven't had the Tobias Harris that I thought they would need because the elevation of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler has been fantastic, but Tobias Harris is going to have some good games in there too, because they're going to need somebody to help knock down shots once they start making the adjustments to slow down Jimmy Butler. Now, do I think Jimmy Butler can be slowed down? Honestly, no, because when you put him in those situations, he's just such a good decision maker that it's tough to really gauge how to stop him, and that's why you see him become an All-NBA player in the West. That's why you've seen him become an all-star in the West and in the East, because the guy just flat out know how to play basketball, and he knows how to make the defense pick their poison and stay on their heels. But Tobias Harris, I want to see more out of him. I definitely think that he had a good advantage. I know he's getting guarded by some athletic guys, but if he gets some more screens to get him some more separation, if he can get the ball at his sweet spots, I think Tobias Harris is due for a 20-plus point game in this series, and that could be the deciding factor of them going up, winning 3 games. Is that Embiid just had his breakout game? Jimmy Butler been playing his best basketball the last 2 games. They just need that breakout game for Tobias to really lock up this series if they do. Or they're going to have to really dig deep one game, and he might make some big shots for them to send them to another W. So I think that this team is tough. They got multiple guys that can really impact the game. They got solid defenders on this roster. Ben Simmons has always been an X factor depending on how he plays, because we know he can rebound, we know he's going to pass, but we don't know what he's going to do offensively each and every game. He comes and goes, and Ben Simmons could be due for a great game too, depending on how this game goes and how they cover him, and if he can really have that aggressive mindset to put the ball in the basket. So I think this is a series that isn't over. Obviously, it's only 3 games, and Philly has done what they were supposed to do: split the game at Toronto and take care of home court advantage, and they have another chance at doing that in Game 4. So if they go up 3-1, I do think that this series will be over. It's going to be hard for the Raptors to win 3 straight games without having any bad quarters, any bad fourth quarters. It's going to be hard for them, even though they do have Kawhi Leonard, one of the best players in the world, and he's proven that right now that it was worth the rest. It was worth letting him sit out because how fantastic and how much dominance he has been doing in this series, especially 101. And he's been playing very well off the ball. So he's showing his dynamic and versatility of his game. So I love watching Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite players, and is a very enjoyable thing to do. But he is going to need a little bit more help. This is a team that has multiple All Stars on it. This is a team that does have a solid bench, depending on what type of style and what type of lineup they want to go out to counter the one that Toronto's going to put out. But this is going to be a battle of will. Who's willing to put in the extra work to get the steals, to get the blocks, and to go out there and knock down shots? And Toronto hasn't been able to do that. They play solid defense, but they just can't put the ball in the basket. You got these guys getting steals, getting blocks, getting out in transition. You got these guys like J.J. Redick and them hitting threes. Jimmy Butler is starting to become one of the best well-rounded offensive players while still trying to guard his position. And they really hitting on all cylinders these last 2 games. They stole one, and they was able to show their dominance over the Raptors in Game 3. Now it's about preparing and getting ready to stay ahead. You don't want to look back. You don't want to give any games up. You want to stay confident. You want to stay ready. You want to go out there and execute and play together. And that's what they have done, and that's why they up 2-1. But I still want to see if they're going to be able to win this series. Everybody felt like Toronto was going to win, that they should be the favorite. But right now, Philly is playing better ball. They playing more together. They more on the same page. People are knocking down shots. People are playing their position and playing their role. They're talking and communicating on the defensive end, and they're really playing well together. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to matchups. It all comes down to coaching, who knocks down shots, who puts the ball in the basket, and who can make the game ugly and muck it up and make the possessions harder while making the opponent take tougher shots. And so far, it's been Philly. And on top of that, Toronto hasn't been able to make a lot of their shots. And you can attribute that to them trying to force them to do things they don't want to do or rush the shots. But other than that, Toronto just haven't been able to knock down shots right now. And you got to give credit to Philly still going out there playing hard, still going out there having the same mindset, whether it's being open or not. They still going and being aggressive on both sides of the court, and you have to give them credit for that. So this is going to be an ugly series. Some of these games have been real slow. They've been really grindy, but that makes more excitement. The more pressure, the more more serious the game becomes, the more fun it is to watch because you want to see who's going to dig deep. You want to see who's going to make the plays and make the shots. And that might come down to the last couple games in the series. Who's willing to trust their teammates? Who's willing to knock down shots? And at the end of the day, who really wants this series? And right now it's Philly. They playing harder, they playing better, and they're going out there playing together. Toronto has been able to play a great team game in a couple games, and that's what they're going to need to do if they really want to win this series. But other than that, I think this is going to be fun. I think that you have two teams this talented, multiple all stars on both teams, teams that can shoot and teams that can really fight. Jimmy Butler has reawoken and started playing his game, and Joel Embiid looks like he's back. They get a little break and then they go back at it. I think that's going to help Joel Embiid get ready. That's going to make his body a little bit more fresher. And the fact they up 2-1, they got less pressure. The games it's just more fun right now for them. They playing together. They very confident and they feel good right now. Especially the fact that the game 4 will be in Philadelphia, which gives them even more happiness because they can sleep in their own beds. They can eat their own food. Plus, they can get the right treatment and the right practice and prepare because they got a couple of days off into the next game, and that just makes them feel a lot more better. Being at home, being able to relax their body, being around the team, and being around each other is good camaraderie. So I like what they're doing. I feel like they really showing that people have been sleeping on them. They really showing that they are one of the better teams in the NBA, which we thought. That's why we feel like there's gonna be Brooklyn. But at the same time, nobody really thought that they was an elite team. People didn't really think that they could give Toronto a run from their money. A lot of people picked Toronto in 5. Some people put Toronto in 6. Nobody really seemed to go in 7 games. And that shows you how much people love and got respect for the Raptors. But it also showing you that people sleeping and not really paying that much attention to the Sixers because they doing their job. They're playing together, and they show that, hey, we might not be able to shoot. We might not match up well against the Raptors, but we can make that up in effort, energy, and hustle. And they've been able to do that so far. They wanted it more. They're trying harder. They're doing more, and that helps you win close games, and that helps you be more consistent because what you don't do offensively, you can make it up defensively, which can turn to giving you more possessions and giving you more opportunity, which turns into a little bit more offense for you. The more offense you get, the better you are because now you have more chances to put the ball in the basket than your opponent, which helps you win games, and that's how they've been winning. So they move the ball, they stay together defensively. Jimmy Butler has arrived, and Joel Embiid looks like he got a couple more dominant games in him. And we got to see, is it going to be Ben Simmons, Tobias, or Redick? Who's going to step up for them for the rest of the series to help even out that offensive load and help get them some more quality shots and some more shot making because they're going to need that. Jimmy Butler is playing like he's LeBron. He's playing like he Kevin Durant, being able to handle the ball, create, knock down shots at the same time, but also play great defense. That's the Jimmy Butler that I kept saying I want to see. That's the Jimmy Butler that makes them hard to guard when he's attacking and he's setting up his teammates and he's putting pressure on that defense because he's a tough one-on-one player to cover and he's getting to the free throw line. He's one of the best players in the league. That's why he's all NBA. That's why he's an all-star, and that's why he belongs in this conversation as one of the top players in the world. The problem is he don't play like this consistently, especially since he got in Philly. Yeah, they got more talent. Yeah, he don't do as much, but it still shows you what he can do. Makes them harder to stop, makes them harder to guard, and makes them one of the better teams in the NBA. I want to see more of this Butler for the rest of the playoffs. And if that happens, it's going to be a tough team to beat. So I got to give them credit and respect for that. But until then, let me know, have people been sleeping on the Sixers? Will they win this series? Have you changed your opinion about the Sixers? Or do you think that Kawhi Leonard doing his thing, his teammates just haven't stepped up yet? And then they eventually will? Or do you just think that, hey, the Sixers going out there busting their ass and eventually, this series could be over depending on how the others on the Raptors do. And if they don't show up, then this could be over for Toronto. But 2-1 ain't over. You still got to win 2 more games. And it's going to be hard to beat Toronto 2 more times, even though they did it already. But now the pressure is on Toronto to come back and tie the series and go back home with a split, and you still have 2 more games at home while Philly has 1. So the series is still going. It's still tough, and it can go either way. but you got to give credit for Philly. Nobody thought they'd be up in this series. Everybody picked against them, and here they are now with a chance to go up 3-1 at home in Philadelphia, which the advantage right now is on them. They're playing better, they feel good, and at the same time, they're up in the series, so they're confident. So let me know what you guys think. Check out my website, analysisPlayground.com. Link in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisPlayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. Thanks for everybody that likes on Facebook. Thanks for everybody that likes the videos and comment. I like the activity. Also, I make videos just like this, playoff prediction discussions. I talk about trade deadline, buyout, free agency. I also do NBA breakdowns, tributes, and rookie analysis. And I also do top 10 fun videos too. So if you love basketball and this is what you love to do in your free time, check out my channel, check out my playlists, and enjoy the content. It's all free, and there's hundreds and thousands of videos up there. So if you feel free to check out my playoff predictions and my other videos, and if you like this video and those, subscribe. Thanks for everybody that subscribe. Thanks to everybody that been buying merchandise to support the movement. I really love and appreciate it. I enjoy making these videos. You guys enjoy watching. That's why I continue to go. Quinn Wade, basketball analysis. I'm gone. And let me know what you guys think about the Philadelphia 76ers. Is they underrated, overrated, or will they lose this series anyway? Or will they win this series? They ain't got a chance to win it all in the NBA Finals. Is they just as good as Golden State? That they have the talent, they have the stars, but can they put it all together? We will see this series, next series, and even in the finals, depending on how far they go. But right now, they're playing very good basketball, and they're playing together.